I'm excited to introduce those of you in virtual attendance at the 2021 Applied Sport Management Association Conference to my former colleague and friend, Walter Holland. Walter and I crossed paths during my tenure in the Twin Cities, and following his undergraduate and graduate endeavors at Hampton University, he now serves as the Sales and Services Coordinator with the Minnesota Lynx and assists visitors to US Bank Stadium as a guest experience and tour specialist. Prior to his time in Minnesota, he served in roles and internships with the Sacramento Kings, Atlanta Braves, Charlotte Hornets, University of California, Berkeley, Hampton University, and Arizona University. And these roles have covered sales operations, marketing, promotions, event presentation, guest services, and facility management. My goodness, quite the range. And here to share about his encompassing insight of the industry is one of the most genuine, hardworking sport management professionals I know, Mr. Walter Holland.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah, that was an intro. I actually forgot I've been all those places. It's crazy.
Oh, I would too. So we have a few questions here today to present for those at ASMA. In order to pursue a career in sport, we often have to travel to different areas of the country and even abroad. So how would you describe the importance of experiencing different cultures across the country?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge because trying to work in sports is tough. There's so much demand, so little supply, and so you really have to just be adaptable and be able to say, "Hey, um, there's a position opening in North Carolina. I've never been there in my life, but I'm open to moving there and checking it out." And really, it's it's just a part of the game. Different cultures is just like anything. There's going to be differences no matter where you are. Um, you're just going to have to adapt really and be able to take experiences that you've learned one place, apply them to the next place, and um, just go with it. I think a lot of it is just being able to roll with the punches and apply what you've learned along the way and just keep accumulating different experiences really.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you mentioned adaptability quite a bit. So how has that played a role in your career? Like I know you mentioned with being able to adapt as you move from an East Coast to a West Coast and currently
Yeah.
working in the Midwest. How exactly has adaptability played a role in your career?
I mean, a whole lot. I've gone places, like at Hampton University, it's a smaller athletic department. So working in marketing, you're wearing about 13 different hats. You come here to the Wolves Lynx, and there's one specific department for each little thing. So there's social media, there's, um, you still have marketing, you have creative, you have a ton of different um, departments that really would have just been one department at Hampton University. So you really have to adapt there. And then just, sometimes you're going to wear more hats than you're comfortable wearing. Um, and that's fine. But, um, you just have to adapt. And another thing with adaptability is that you're not going to be doing exactly what you always set out to be doing. For example, a couple of people got left the organization earlier in COVID, and I had to take on some of their responsibilities, and that's just part of the game. Sometimes you get more busy, sometimes um, you know more things than you think can handle, but you just got to roll with it. Especially sports and live events, there's going to be so many things that just happen on the fly that you have no control over, and you just have to roll with those punches.
Yeah, no question. And taking roles like even making calls to an annual fund center, like in my master's program, that actually helped translate the ability to personally sell myself, listen to what clients ultimately need, and trying to match versus trying to say, hey, court sides are the way to go, like in a sales role. Just ultimately listening was something that I took from another role that wasn't directly sport management related. So
Mhm.
again, with your various earned roles, how have you approached skill development as you've been asked and tasked to wear a bunch of different hats like the one you're wearing right now?
So, I mean, you develop different skills different places, but really what I think is most important is just knowing your role,
Mm.
knowing what it is that the organization wants you to do. You have to sometimes break it down very plainly and say, hey, what is my exact job here? Um, and with that role and doing the job, you're going to be able to come up with different skills on the fly. Um, my essential job is here is coordinating events, and I've been good at coordinating events. Have been doing it for years, um, and then because different people left the organization, now it's on me to start selling season tickets and President Circle memberships, which is just another branch of membership just for higher end clients, really. And now I'm putting on the selling hat and having to take on those different responsibilities. And so you learn different skills along the way, um, but you really do have to take those to the next position with you because you know everything you do is a piece of your resume. It's building to who you hope to become in the future. So really just taking all the skills that you've developed along the way and bringing them with you. You're you're gonna be there's gonna be something at some point that you've done when you were in college or right out of college in an internship, and you're gonna be able to say, "Oh, I've done that." Like, okay, I'll be able to do that now. But you never know when it's gonna come. So, um,
So you would say there's no such thing as wasted experience.
no, no chance at all. I mean, really, I've had positions where I thought like, and I'm just here in a cage rolling shirts. I'm like, man, what is this? Like, what am I really learning? What am I developing? Um, but you really see years later, like, oh, like this was a huge part of putting on the show. And if you're able to step back, which at certain times I wasn't able to because I was just too busy rolling those shirts or doing whatever the um, little tedious task was, but you're really there is no such thing as wasted experience. Yeah.
So in terms of all the different places you've been, different roles, are there a couple particular skills that you derived from a previous position that have really translated to your coordinating role at the Minnesota Lynx?
Absolutely. And I would think the main thing is being able to work with people, different people. Um, I would say with the Sacramento Kings, when I was there, it was more of just, okay, so we're working with all of these people. And I was working mostly with FEPs, fan experiences. So we're working with different vendors and let's say there's bands and cheer groups and color guard, etc. um, you're working with them and basically giving them exactly what they want. And it's when you break it down to be that simple, it really is that simple. Just getting information, seeing what people want, making it happen. Um, and now it's really that same thing, but it's with members and president circle members. And so um, basically I'm calling them on a regular basis, getting information, seeing them, checking in on them really, and building relationships, but also just giving them what they want. A lot of them want to do things as a member base that is fun, that brings them together. So I'll gather that information and really just try to do it for them, and really just working with people and making sure people have the best experience possible is what it's going to be no matter where you're working, if you're in the service industry. um, so I would really just say building relationships with people and making sure that they get what they want.
Exactly, and that's a pretty universal theme and concept to at least apply into a variety of roles, which you clearly have had to do. And no, this is a little bit off topic, at least of the list of questions I provided you. But with the Minnesota Lynx, you mentioned that prior to this that your role actually expanded a little bit. So
Oh,
what's it like to say yes and a kind of a counterintuitive time where some roles have diminished, but they've actually asked you to take on more responsibilities. So how was that experience?
one of my friends told me a long time ago. It was actually one of my best friends, and he actually lives here now, but I met him in Arizona when we were interning with ASU. But he was like, never say no. And simple motto, but I've lived by that. And when we were in Arizona together, he had an opportunity under his supervisor. We had different supervisors to work with the Super Bowl host committee. And so that was in 2014 when they hosted there. And, she couldn't do it. His supervisor couldn't do it because she was sick. Asked him to step in, even though he had other things on his plate, obviously, but stepped in, got the job done, did a great job, and then had been working with the Super Bowl host committee for the 4 years after that. And so he ended up stopping here and then ended up taking a job with the Vikings where he currently works. But never say no would be my philosophy when it comes to taking on additional work, which I still live by. So yeah, people did get let go at the beginning of COVID. And now I'm selling, but that's opened up opportunities for me to build relationships with more people,
Yeah, no,
earn commission, so it's higher revenue, et cetera. So it is a lot more opportunity that comes with it, but I would never block opportunities because it's more work.
absolutely. And I've got a couple more questions for you and I'll let you go. So in the hiring process, how would you describe the importance of job applicants having a variety of professional experiences?
Yeah, so I would say experience is key. Like you can't replace experience with a degree. I didn't, or just any certifications. Experience is key. um I graduated, thought I was going to get a job right after graduation. Was not the case. I interned, you mentioned it, all those different places. I went to school in Virginia, interned in North Carolina, worked part-time in Georgia, taking a bus back and forth, moved back to California to work at Berkeley, then the Kings.
Goodness.
um, and yeah, between undergrad and grad was at ASU. So I moved around a ton of different places, and in those different experiences, I was, in different roles. So you're doing different things, you're learning different things, but then when you eventually get to a level, where you have to supervise people doing all those different things that I was doing, you get the full scope of it. So it really comes full circle and just gives you a basic understanding of just everything, the entire organization, what exactly is supposed to be going on, what everybody is doing in those different roles that you're no longer a part of. You kind of understand more. So I would say just, being open to different roles, doing different things, taking on different challenges will really make you well rounded and more understanding of sports or your organization in general.
That's so true. And to close, so what, maybe make this pretty succinct, but if you could put it in like a line or two, what advice would you provide for aspiring sport management professionals?
Yeah, I would say to stay open minded, because you just never know what opportunity is going to come your way. Um, I thought right out of college I was going to be working, basketball operations with an NBA team, and that's just not the case. Um, you're going to need a lot more experience, so you got to get certifications, internships, etc., in order to be considered for those types of positions. I just, which I just didn't know at the time, but really staying open minded, doing different things in sports to get you where you really want to go in the long run. So
So, Walter, on behalf of those of us involved with ASMA, thank you so much for sharing your time, experiences, and insight with us. Hey, please take care, stay safe, and we'll try to be a little more open minded as we roll into our new roles.
corny, love it. All right, thank you so much, Mr. A.